So moving on, what is advancement? Well, advancement is defined as a strategic integrated method of managing relationships to get folks understanding and supporting an educational institution. And that's really all of the key constituencies: alumni, friends, government policymakers, the media, students, anybody who really touches that institution. On the next page, the issue there and the opportunity there is that, as we all know, if you're on this webinar, you probably care very much about this, sources and uses of funds are evolving significantly in institutions today, whether you're public or private, nonprofit or for-profit. So on the left-hand side of this chart, and this comes from a Moody's report covering sort of the financial state of the higher education market, but public universities, up until recently, a huge percentage of their funding was state, local, and federal. That's evolving with performance-based funding. And so, that enrollment model and that funding from those government sources is reduced. And so, there's a lot more interest in getting additional sources of funds from people and other places who are donors that are unrestricted. And similarly, in private universities, obviously they have a lot more experience with individual and group fundraising, but they too are in a situation where they get money through grants and contracts from public or other sources that often come with restrictions. And this is one of the great sources for them of unrestricted income or income restricted towards things they very much care about. So a lot of institutions have a real focus on advancement these days. Moving on to the next page, what are the functions, key capabilities? What do you focus on day to day? I'm probably preaching to the choir out there, but generally constituent relations. It says alumni here, but it's really across all your different constituencies that could donate money to your institution. Communications and marketing. You're oftentimes the first line of offense or defense, depending on how you think about it, to telling people how the institution's doing and what they should care about. And this is bolded because it's obviously the most tactical, but also the most important, arguably, of the function, which is campaigns and fundraising for the institution and raising that approximately 10% from quote-unquote other sources that we saw on the previous page. So on the next page, there's a bunch of different ways to think about fundraising processes, similar to the sales process in a for-profit organization. There's Dale Carnegie, Miller Hyman, all these things that are a sales process model, similar here in development. So we just picked one from Pursuant as, a model to basically demonstrate how frustrating the advancement function can be for folks. So this is their 6 stages of donor cultivation. In the first stage, there's discovery. So there's really 2 things that a lot of advancement models talk about: capacity and affinity. And what that is really how much someone can give and what their good feelings are or affiliation feelings are for the institution. In order for a strong development officer to make a pitch to someone to donate money, they generally really need to understand both of those things. And unfortunately, they're in a situation where they might be working with several different data sources, many of which aren't integrated, to be able to get a complete picture on an individual or a group or organization that might donate.